Hello and welcome back to another episode of our Taixtile Podcast. As you maybe know, this is Clara, I'm Nany. We are talking about knitting, crafting, mostly historically inspired, but technically everything we like to do. And this episode we are gonna talk about vintage knitting, our current projects, what we have done. Yeah, so
what we're planning to do in the
Yes.
past few months.
So let's start, and Clara has something she's happy with, finished.
Yes. So yeah, one of my finished objects is this jumper that I'm wearing today. It is from the Sunbeam Knitting Book, which is an Australian knitting magazine from the 1920s, 1930s. I don't really know the exact date because it isn't written anywhere. I used the Holst super soft yarn. No, not super soft. I used the Holst coast yarn, which compared to the super soft yarn isn't made from 100% wool, but from a blend of cotton and wool, which means that it's a lot softer than the other yarn and really comfortable to wear, I must say.
It's actually funny to call the rougher yarn super soft.
Yeah.
And the softer yarn
Coast.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, this coast yarn is, as I said, very soft and also very fine. It has about 350 meters per 50 grams, which is a nice weight yarn, I'd say. I did have some problems with knitting with this yarn because I feel like it isn't very strong, and whenever I was pulling my finger to hold the tension, then it was tearing apart. So especially the white yarn, I also noticed the difference between the red and the white dyed yarn. So that's a bit sad. And also I'm noticing that I've been wearing this quite a few times now, and it does show a few signs of wear already, which is a bit sad. It has some pilling here on the inside of my sleeves and at the armpit area. Yeah, that's a bit sad, but yeah, it's quite soft and not that warm, so I can wear it even in warmer weather, which we have had these past few days. The pattern itself is knit separately into two parts. So the front part is knit from bottom up. The back part is knit from bottom up, which is a classic construction for vintage knitting patterns. I only use the knitting structure, so the pattern of the stripes and the lace for my design, and the rest was just calculated via an Excel sheet because most of these vintage knitting patterns don't really fit me, so I'm not even trying to work with this, but I'm working with my own calculations then. So I didn't really read the whole knitting pattern, but in the end I realized that the original pattern is quite interesting in the way that the front is knit from the bottom up, then you decrease for the arm, for the neckline, and then you cast on stitches at the back, and then you knit the back from the other side to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's knit in one piece, but in the end I'm quite happy that I didn't do this construction because I had to take quite some length out of the shoulder straps, where even though I calculated it to my gauge and my measurements, that was one of the things that I noticed and that I changed. I'm really happy also about the sleeves, how they are set in. I feel like it's quite a basic striped design, but the color really makes it a bit more 1930s or historical looking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I really love the way it is folding onto each other.
And how did you do the color? Because last time you said you have no idea how to do it.
Yeah, I just looked at the picture and tried to make sense of the description. So I knit two stripes, two like long pieces of like two stripes, yeah. And then I just folded them onto each other like braid, and then I pinned it down. And while being pinned down, I sewed it onto the neckline on here. So I just simply sewed on the edge itself, and then to have the strap really hold in itself together, I just sewed onto the edge of both straps to place them together. I don't really know how to describe it, but it holds up.
That's the most important. And have you also sewn the bow in place, or can you open that up?
No, I can't open it up because, first of all, bows always look a bit weird when I tie them together. Yeah, I folded it up and then sewed it down that it really stays in place even after washing and everything. That's my jumper.
It's a really pretty jumper.
Thank you very much.
And we were also talking about what to wear underneath it, because you don't like that in some areas it's darker when you wear a top underneath.
In the end, I feel like it doesn't really show. I mean, you can see that I'm not wearing anything around my arms underneath. So you can see my skin tone peeking through, and I'm wearing a dark top. So yeah, you kind of see it, but it doesn't bother me that much because it's not, the holes of the lace patterns aren't that big, I feel. Yeah. But also it's funny, when I'm bending the elbow, the red stripes stay in place and the white stripes are forming some kind of like a Michelin. Yeah. It's quite fun. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I mean, it's the interruption of just stockinette stitch and then this stockinette stitch with a lace pattern, which maybe takes more space as a gauge. Like we have less stitches on this lace pattern because it grows horizontally. What about you? I think we're now switching to the work in progress section.
Yeah, definitely, because I didn't finish anything. I'm currently knitting 2 projects. One is a sweater for my boyfriend, and the other is the plate jumper, which I have talked last time about, that I wanted to start it. Now I'm midway through the bodice. I have reknitted this part 3 times now because the textile just didn't have the structure I wanted. It was so flimsy, and that's why I switched to an even finer needle. I'm now knitting with 2mm needles, I think, so that it stays a little bit in place and is not just like a jersey kind of fabric. It's still really flexible, but not that much anymore. And I've already knitted some stripes. It's difficult to show.
Do you want me to hold it up for you?
Yes, I have this pointed waistband with the ribbing, and then the stripes start next to it. The last time I think I was approximately here, so I could start with with the first stripe. Now I have knitted a couple. I am apparently really bad at counting because there's always 12 rows and 4 rows between the stripes, and I almost every time end up with 30 and 5 rows. I don't know why.
This is why you knitted so many times.
Apparently I shouldn't knit while watching a show or something. I don't know. And so I'm not that far, but I'm now at the point where I have to divide I'm knitting it around, so I have to divide now for the front opening, and that would be the next row. So I was counting how many stitches I need there, and then I will knit the 2 front pieces, the back pieces, and then add the sleeves. The original instruction only has short sleeves. I think I will make long sleeves because it's quite warm, so I assume I will wear it more in the autumn-winter time, and that's the plan. Maybe I will finish it by autumn this year, maybe not.
You will certainly finish it earlier.
It's so fine to knit. I really realized while knitting the other project for my boyfriend, which is tweed yarn, so relatively thick yarn.
Okay, already.
I think yes. And in comparison, I lose so often the stitches while knitting with this fine yarn. And the other one is I just don't have to look there. I can knit without looking and it's fine. Here I have almost to watch it like a hawk to not lose a stitch. Yeah, so it will take its time and it's really slippery yarn. If you have some fine yarn which is like the whole super soft, it's not that slippery, so I feel like I can hold it better on the needle.
Even if it's finer than this yarn.
So yeah, I still love the color combination. I'm really curious how it will look with the vertical stripes, which I will embroider onto it later on.
I feel like this is a grey color, but in combination with this very warm yellow color, it looks almost like light blue.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
That's, I think, also what catched me, this, yeah, how the colors interact with each other. Now I have a little bit of a problem that I don't have anything to wear on the bottom with this color combination. Black, I think, is too hard. Maybe a dark blue would be nice, but yeah, that's a future project, I guess.
Or a lighter blue.
Or
a gray tone that is as warm as this one.
I also thought about a bright yellow skirt, but
you could.
I have your orange yellow skirt,
yes,
the other skirt in the end.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you can wear it just as a test.
That would be fun. Yeah. That's history bounding at its core, I guess.
It really is.
Yeah, so
I think I asked you this already in the other episode, in the previous one, but did you calculate it to your own measurements?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the original pattern is too small for me. I don't do it with the Excel sheet right now. I just write it next to the numbers in the pattern, but I think for the future I will learn from you and do it more structured because it's so much more practical. And if I wanted to knit a similar style, I think it would be easier to re-knit it than searching in the pattern where I have manually written what I've done. And I also realized in another pattern I did before, I apparently also forget to write down things. So
I also get quite lazy when it comes to documenting my knitting patterns. So at first I'm really motivated, but the first calculations that to do are also the easiest one, like your waist measurement, your bust measurement. That's really easy, but then it comes to the armhole decreases and the neckline, and then I get quite lazy and just write down any numbers, but I don't really write down what this number means. So as you will see in the next project that I will show, it's important to document.
And then show us your project.
Okay. So one of my works, I'm not sure if I presented this in the last podcast episode.
I don't remember either.
I think I didn't show you this. I'm not sure. But in the last episode I showed you my chevron jumper, which was in a light blue and a white striped pattern. And I wanted to make another version out of it, first of all to improve the first one, and just because I like the pattern so much, and stripes seem to be my thing at the moment.
You're in your stripe era.
Yeah. So this is the bodice that is finished. I had still some white left because I ordered a coat last year of this whole super soft yarn again. And then I ordered these two colors, which is a very warm green tone, and then this one, it looks almost bluish compared to the other one, but it's also a green.
It's more like sage and
yeah. I think it's called pea green.
Pea rosy.
One above and the one below is called, I don't remember. We will write it down. So the body itself fits fine. I used the same elements and the same stitch counts as for my last one. It's based on a 1940s knitting pattern, which is also very popular. It was recreated by Susan Crawford, who is a quite famous vintage knitting designer. And it's also been appearing in TV shows like Home Fires, for example. The few things that I adjusted to the original vintage pattern, I also talked a little bit about this in the last episode, but I forgot some things that I want to still include. So as I said in the last previous episode, I matched the increases that I would done at this part here. So this is my waist measurement at the hem, and from here on I decreased to my bust measurement to not have any increases at the sides, because it looks a bit neater and has more of this vintage silhouette, I'd say. Mm-hmm. So I increased in a way that the midst columns go on in the stitches here. Also what I did, in the original pattern it says to have a knit 3 together in order to get this column here, but that doesn't look really neat because the stitches are leaning to one side. So I decided to do a central double decrease. So you're knitting in a way that both stitches that are leaning to the middle side are staying behind this middle stitch here. So it looks, in my opinion, a lot neater than doing a knit 3 together. What I also did, which I didn't like in all the other versions that I've seen, is that the shoulder parts are very wide.
Wide?
Yeah, the shoulders are very wide because when you come from this pattern, which has a different stitch count, because as it's sloped, you have more stitches per 10 centimeters. You change to this stitch pattern, which is a moss stitch, which tends to grow horizontally quite a lot. So what I did is I changed the needle size. So I took, I think it was 3.5 millimeter for this one, and then 3 millimeter for this one, to really have some fitted shoulder parts and not the one that are just very wide and not looking very flattering, I feel. So these are some of the things that I changed. This, as I said, fits me quite well. I also finished the sleeves, both of them here. But, and now it comes to the part where documentation is quite important. This sleeve cap is very small, and I think I didn't use the correct stitch counts and decreases for making the sleeve head. So I will have to revise that and maybe frock this part because it doesn't look very correct to me. Yeah.
Have you laid it onto your other sweater to see if there's of the same measurement?
Kind of, but it's not easy because the sleeve head is gathered at the top of it. So you can't really put it onto each other very well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it needs now some time, some more concentration to deal with this, which I didn't have time these past few weeks, or the last week since it's finished. So this will be something that I will still need to deal with, because otherwise it would have been almost done.
You're knitting so fast.
I'm knitting a lot with train rides and evenings. I'm just too tired to do anything else. Knitting really is the best thing to do for me.
Calm down.
Okay, so actually I forgot, I do have another finished object that I want to show you, which is a design that I created myself, which I'm calling the Charming Chevron Scarf, which is this one. Oops. So it's a very simple design with decreases at the center and increases at the sides, which creates this chevron pattern, which seems to be my thing at the moment. This is one of the first samples that I did. It is actually it's long enough, I'd say, but I ran out of yarn to make it any longer, so...
But you could maybe just wear it like... May I put it on?
Yeah, of course.
Like so, and then have a pin here. Then
that would be, yeah.
Or like here, something like a brooch or something. And then I would feel, it covers the neck.
Yeah. It's more very formal, like this, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be.
So you don't have to wrap it around, because I think, wrapping around is a little bit short. But like
these kinds of shorts are, I think, most of the time meant to just wear once around your neck, tied to a knot, and then, something. It would be fine still.
I think with the pin, it lays flat around.
So you're right, actually the length is fine. It would be fine to wear it like this. For me, this is one sample just to make pattern. And then 1 week ago, I wanted to make another version because now I finally just want to publish this pattern. So I had some alpaca yarn in my stash that was halfway used up for a knitting project, but that didn't really give me any joy, so I didn't continue it. So it was laying in my stash for a year now. And I thought it would be very great to have this kind of alpaca yarn as a shawl, because this one is also quite scratchy, especially around your neck, which is why I don't really wear this. But then I created this one. So this is the yarn Elva by Fikulana, which is, I think it's a Danish yarn brand. It's also a very fine lace weight alpaca yarn, which I held double for this project. So yeah, there are 2 pieces like this. You knit from the bottom up, from this edge up 2 times, and then it's knit together in the back to have this diamond shape in the place. So yeah, this one in comparison is quite soft, and I just love the colors, if I may say so. So yeah, once this podcast episode is out, I think this will be published already. I will put the link down. It will be a free pattern, so you can access it very easily if you want to knit this as well.
I love the color too.
Yeah, it's very bright. This one's quite muted. Also, I do like the color combination very much, but this has a very summery, spotty feel to it, I think.
Have you worn it already? I mean, it's really warm right now.
No, because I sewed in the ends last night.
Okay.
I washed it last night, and it's still a bit damp. That's a bit tedious if you have so many color changes. Then you have to sew it down at every side. But I mean, you could also just use one color, or very bigger stripes, so you don't have that many ends to weave in.
But it makes it striking with these many stripes.
Yeah, that's my finished object. So now we can go back to our works in progress.
Yeah, sure. I only have this one. I think you have more.
I have another one which could also count as from the archives, because I also haven't touched it in a year. So I'm not sure if you can see this. It's a 1930s summer top. It's Suntan Holiday. That's the name. It's from the Stitchcraft magazine, and it's just another PDF pattern that I got online. And for this I also used the same yarn as for the one before, so it's the Elva alpaca yarn, and this time I knit it with 1 strand only, and it's not finished yet, but this is how it looks like first. So it's sewn in here. So first you start. How did I do this? I don't really remember right now. Okay, I think you start with this part and this part separately. So this is one knitted piece and the other one, and then it's sewn together in the middle, which I also did, but which I wouldn't do again if I would knit this another time, because it looks quite sloppy. So here it's a ribbed pattern, so knit 1, purl 1, and sewing it together, you can quite tell that there's a seam in here which doesn't look very nice, I feel. Mm-hmm. Here at the top, I didn't sew it together already, so it's just all together with some stitch markers. Yeah, so you knit these parts together, you have a central double decrease at these parts here, and then you just knit in stripes. For this time, I just knitted the pattern as it was written in the instructions, so I didn't do any grading or calculations, because the gauge fit quite well to the one mentioned in the pattern. And as it was quite stretchy, I told myself that it would fit me, and it does. But the reason why I didn't touch it for so long is, first of all, because the straps that I have here aren't finished. I mean, it's looking fine. I would just need to sew them onto the top, and then it would be done. But I don't have a solution right now how to actually wear it, because it's, as you can see from the back, it has quite an open back. And I want to have straps that cross at the back, because I really like this kind of look. But still, my bra would show through, and I wouldn't feel that comfortable not wearing a bra. So I don't really have a solution for this yet, which is why I don't wear it. it would be cool to wear it this summer. So maybe I will have to pick it up again and really get to.
Do you have
find
a
a way.
sports bra with crossed straps?
I don't have one, but don't they have quite thick straps?
Like yours. So they could be covered if you
would be a
maybe
solution.
put on the sports bra and then place the straps of the top exactly there.
I mean, I could sew on some closures that would enclose the strap of the bra to stay in place. That would be a solution, yeah.
That's the only solution I can think of. But
I mean, there are bras that are just taped onto your body, but that's a bit wasteful, I feel, because you only can use them for one time.
yeah.
At least the ones that I know. But yeah, I like the colors. It was quite a lot of fun to knit it, even though it's very fine. It took not that much time. It's also the alpaca yarn, so it's quite soft on your skin. It's maybe not the best summer material. Like, it's still quite it's quite thick, and there are fibers sticking out, which makes it a bit warmer maybe than a cooling linen summer top would be, for example. But yeah.
Oh, what was the original pattern calling for yarn? Was it wool or?
Yes, I think this is the thing. They're just naming the name of the yarn, which sometimes can't be found anywhere. So it's called Crocus Non-Shrink Knitting 4-ply. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember searching for this yarn and not finding anything. Yeah, that's how you deal with these kinds of patterns.
Make a guess.
Also, the ratio in which stitches are decreased and increased is put in such a way that you really need to pay attention to the pattern. So you have your central decrease in the middle. In this part, you don't decrease at all, and then you decrease at a certain rate. And then this part is also decreased the whole time. So I didn't feel comfortable reading this yet, because you need this measurement here. So you need this measurement here, which you're working with. And you don't really work with horizontal measurements. So this would be quite tricky to grade. So I just trusted my gauge swatch to fit me, to have this fit me. So this is one of my works in progress / patterns from my archive, projects from my archive that I haven't touched for a year now.
Maybe this year is the year.
I hope so. Okay, so now we come to the category future projects, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
Yeah. It's actually a project which, for me, started last week because Clara and a friend of ours we went last year to kind of a market festival close to us, which is called the Epochenfest. And if I got it right, you technically have a market with historically themed, though you have the 1940s, but apparently also medieval. So basically everything you want. And you can dress up and go there. And Clara had the idea to ask me if I want to join them to go there, and they already planned to go as 1940s British Women's Land Army girls, land girls in short. And you already had bought fabrics, you were making the pattern.
So for this outfit, you need these kinds of very large trousers that only go to your knee. And then you have typically a vest or a jumper knitted in a green yarn, and then a blouse underneath. So this is a very typical outfit that you would make. And so
they asked me if I want to join, and since I was for another project thinking about yarn, also again the whole super soft, we ordered it, and this was the wrong color, but we didn't realize it immediately because The other one is also blue and has almost the same name. It's not Marlin, but Mariner. So, yeah, I only realized it when I saw the sticker.
So actually, I ordered quite a lot of yarn for both the other friend, for you, and for me. And I had it staying with me for a week until we realized, and then we decided to keep it.
Yeah. Because I really like the color, and even if it doesn't work for the project I have in mind, I thought, why not knitting the Lens Girl sweater or vest with it? And I also have for the pants, the trousers,
That's
fabric in this color, so I thought this would work pretty well. But during the last week, I was thinking about it and also researched some patterns for the pants, and they are always in a greenish tone, brown tone, or beige tone. And I felt like you don't go on the fields and work in a mint toned pants. So that's why I ordered a swatch in a dark brown. And I really hate brown as clothing. For me, on this body, I never have worn anything brown as a part of shoes. I really don't like it.
Okay.
And this is the brown I feel I can live with. So I think I will switch to this brown. And since I also have the green yarn from this cardigan, which is this, I thought I will switch to the colors brown and green and make the outfit with this dark brown and the green instead. And then I don't look like I'm a clown.
You're not looking like a clown anyways.
I just felt like this is really the silhouette. I wanted the silhouette to match, but the colors were so much off that, I felt a little bit weird. So
you could use a stripy fabric, then you would look like a clown. Or just one leg in brown and the other one in whatever.
That would also that really would be funny. Yeah. But yeah, that's why I changed my mind. And today, Clara sent me the pattern for the vest, and I'm so excited to finally start knitting. I mean, I'm still knitting other projects, but somehow as you said, maybe it's because it's a group project. I'm really excited about it and to make it.
The plan is that 3 of us are sewing the pants based on your sewing pattern.
Yeah, right.
And I'm making a vest pattern for knitting for the 3 of us as well. And we decided to make a vest instead of a jumper because, first of all, it takes less time because we only have 3 months left. And it's 2 months. And it's knit in I can show you the swatch here. It's knit in a half brioche pattern, which takes even more time to knit than like a regular stockinette stitch pattern. So yeah, this is how it will look like in bigger. I'm going to use a similar color to yours. It's a bit different still. This one's how's it called, the color?
It's Cossack.
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 And this one's Clover Leaf. And I also have the fabric for my pants. It's a bit more colorful than yours. I hope that I'm not going to look like a clown.
No, you are going to look like the land girls in images.
In black and white.
They are some colorized from the painting and the posters. I did a little bit deep dive on the posters. They're so beautiful. Beautiful girls.
Yeah.
Because they needed to. Because if they weren't on these posters, no one would have wanted to go to the land girls. Be a land girl.
You only wanted to see beautiful pictures of women feeding lambs and sheep and dogs.
And also, apparently, these posters weren't only for the girls, but also for the farmers, so that they would want to
have
employ That's why some are really honing into the classical feminine role, like a little bit dumb.
We're not gonna be like this.
Maybe. If we want to, we can. We can also be the tough girl. Maybe we are a fun combination of our three.
Yeah. We'll tell you when it's done. So yeah, this is the color of the trousers. It's a cord fabric, which is very fitting for the skin. I think it looks very orangey in the camera. If I'm seeing it right, it's a bit more toned down in real life. And we were looking at, so the other friend and I went to a fabric store, which had quite a selection of these cord. Do you say cord in English?
I think it's corduroy.
Corduroy fabrics, and there were some in a beige tone and a more of a brown tone, but it didn't look very colorful. I mean, it doesn't need to be colorful, but it looked very sad. So we decided on this one, and I think it's still fine. It's not too orange, not too bright. It's working fine. Yeah. So we need to sew the pants, the trousers. We need to knit this vest. Maybe we'll add. We need a blouse underneath, and maybe. How say that in English? Necktie. Yeah. Maybe if we have time, some knee-length socks. But this would also be very warm for June.
Yeah.
And some shoes. It's quite a lot of work.
And a hat, technically.
We could just use a headband.
Yeah. Sure, that will be fine.
So what we're planning to do these next 3 months, and that's quite enough.
Yeah, absolutely. But fun too.
Yes.
I spent last night making the pattern for the trousers based on an original trouser someone had put online, and I graded them for us. Yeah, I just want to start now, but we still have to wait for the fabric, or at least I have to wait for the fabric and for the printed pattern. But I think in the meantime, we can start knitting.
Yes. Yeah.
Stay tuned for next episode.
Yeah, so it's been quite a lot of, we had quite a lot of knitting themes and topics these last few episodes, simply because this is what we currently like to do, but we are hoping to make some more episodes about bobbin lace, maybe. I have a weaving project waiting back there for quite a long time already. The loom is set up, but I haven't started yet. So maybe there's something that we could talk about as well, so tell us if you're interested in that. And also we plan on doing some episodes about
sewing.
Yeah.
That was mostly Edwardian.
Yeah.
We thought about making a corset again.
Yes.
Making one that fits.
Yes. Embroidered buttons is still on our list.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so we're never bored. There's always enough to do for us in our free time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.